Hey guys, and how's it going? Maniac Mower here. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, you'll probably recognize this engine. This is the engine out of my 1969 112 Patio. Now you're probably wondering why it's in here and sitting on a chair right now. Well, for those of you who have been around the channel, you've seen my 68 112, and I think I've touched on this once before. I'm thinking about taking that engine and I'm thinking about dropping it in here, putting these shrouds on it. And now I'm sure that raises the question, well, what's going to go on the patio if that engine's going to go in the 68? Well, this engine's going to go in the patio, the one that is currently in the 68. The big reason that I am swapping these engines is because that's a 12 horse right there. That's a K301, same as what's in the 73. This right here is a K241. This is only a 10 horse. So I'm going to swap them around so that this will be a 12 horse and that'll be and the patio will be a 10 horse. Now, we know this engine runs really good. It runs decent. I'm not going to say really good. It needs new rings. But it does run exceptionally good. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to end up doing with this engine, whether I'm going to rebuild it or just drop it in the tractor and bolt it down, put the shrouds on it, and just leave it to set. I did plan on getting the patio running in the beginning, but this plan kind of changed after a while. So for this engine, I kind of threw the shrouds on it last minute's notice because I wanted to get a picture of it. So I threw the shrouds on the engine and I dropped the engine into the tractor, and you can see the carburetor is missing. That is because it is on the 68. The airbox is with the tractor still. So a few things that we need to do with this engine is I need to pull the head off. The head gasket can be reused. I did not tighten the head down. The bolts are just in there finger tight. So this should come off just fine. I'll be able to reuse the head gasket. I haven't crushed it down yet. And we also need to pull this PTO off of here and put the one off of the 68 on there. And I think that is just about it. Also the starter and the carburetor. And then also I'm going to have to pull I put oil in this engine. I forget why I did that, but it's got oil in it, so I got to drain the oil out, and then I got to pull the bottom of the engine off and pull the pit. That's why. Because I had the piston is in there, the rod is in there, the crank is in there, and I put oil in it to keep them from seizing. I need to put a different piston rod in here because I think that piston rod has a smaller hole in it than what it should, because it doesn't quite work well with that crank I have in there, so I'm going to swap that rod. And I think that leaves us with, let's get this engine put up on the bench, let's get the oil drained out of it, and let's get going on it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to do with it. I don't think there is, so let's go on ahead and get this in there. Oh, we need to do the governor. Where's the governor? There's the governor. We need to do the governor adjustment on here. I think I'm going to leave this muffler on there. I don't think I'm going to swap it with the one that's on that tractor. I might not. We'll see. And the dipstick, I got to figure something out for the dipstick because, oh, it's not going to do it now, but it'll pop out. So we got to figure something out for that, but it wants to stay in there right now, so I'm just going to leave it in there. Let's go on ahead and we will pop the shrouds off of it. We'll take the head off and go from there. I also need to do a valve adjustment on this engine. I'm pretty sure I never did a valve adjustment on it, so I think I'm going to check the valves on it next. So let's go on ahead, dive into this guy, and see what we can get. That's a 30 over bore. For those of you wondering, I put a 30 over bore on this engine. I didn't do that, somebody else, a shop did, but yeah, that head's not, you can see that head's gasket's not crushed down, so we can use it still. It's just, let's see, what do we want to do now? See how tight that is to move? Exhaust. Intake. Compression. Boom. Back down. And exhaust. See? That's how your engine works. Top dead center would be here, right? No, that's not top dead center. That would be top dead center, but in another way. This right here is top dead center. You can see. Look at that piston. That thing looks nice. Okay, well, let's go on ahead and where do we want to go from here? Let me put the bolts back in just so that I don't lose them. I still don't remember where that longer one came from. That one's gonna probably end up being changed. I do have some head bolts around here somewhere. I gotta look for them. They're not brand new, but they're new enough for me. As long as it doesn't do what that Tecumseh did and blow the head bolt, break the head bolt while I'm out using it, I won't care. I still haven't fixed that yet. That's been on the list now for a while to fix and take care of, but I just still haven't done it yet. I think what we're going to do now is, I want to figure out why that's such a pain in the ass to turn. What should we do? Should we take the valve assembly out and do the valves, or should we take the bottom off? Let's take the bottom off. And then after we take the bottom off, we'll come back up here and do the valves. Does that sound good to you guys? It does? Cool. I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm sure you're all curious how I'm going to drain the oil out of this engine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hang it. And you're probably asking, how am I going to hang it? This right here. This is the front linkage piece for a earlier 100 series tractor. I'm going to run a hook through this and up on, I'm going to have it hanging from the forklift. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that bolt off on bottom and the oil is going to drain. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I'll demonstrate for you how I'm going to have it like that. My big worry is I do not want anything to fall into the piston. So that's why I have that up all the way. I think that we have it. I may end up using something else instead, but right now that's how I have it. So let's go on ahead and lift this thing up onto the forklift and get the oil drained. Okay, here's the new plant. Now you guys know I have this bar right here I was hanging stuff from when I was painting. I'm going to try to hang that engine from this right here, and we're going to see how it does. I'm not going to hook it up to that hook, but maybe it'll work, maybe not. Fingers crossed. Let me grab the engine real fast and bring it over. You know, now that I think about it, if I was smart, I'd have left this in the tractor and drained the oil. But unfortunately, things sometimes just don't play that way, do they? I'm sure a lot of you guys know know what I mean when I say that. There we go. We're gonna have to do this quick. I can already tell it doesn't like that weight. Let me try to help stop it from turning a little bit. Turn that back up so that way it's still at top dead center. It's level. That ain't bent. So now I need to come under here, loosen this bolt. I thought it was over here. Loosen this bolt right here. I think it's a 1/2 inch or 9/16 after I do that. Why is that engine moving now? Put something behind it like that. I'm sure you guys are not going to like this, what I'm about to tell you. I am actually going to reuse the oil that's in it. When I say reuse, oh my god, it moved again. When I say reuse the oil, I mean I'm going to put the oil that's in this engine block back in it once I'm done. This engine has never, this oil has never been run before. So there's really no point in dumping it because it could still be used, but like I said, I knew a lot of you guys aren't going to like the, aren't going to be happy about that, so tell you now, get it over with. Let's get this thing somehow positioned. It's going to quit turning like that. There we go. Let me go grab my oil pan. There we go. I think we fixed it. Now we'll take this, put it under here. I would put this under there, but I don't think I can fit it. 5/8. I thought I grabbed 1/2 inch. But I guess not. Now I say I don't want it to move as I'm moving it. I know someone's going to comment about that, so I'm just going to say it now. Ready? Here we go. Never before run oil. Yuck. That looks very clean. I hear them out in the field. I actually wonder now, oh man, I was worried that this wasn't going to be big enough, but I think it will be. I don't see any metal shavings, so that's good. We'll let the oil drain completely, and then once the oil is completely drained, I'll bring you guys back. All right. Okay, it is a couple of days later. I let the oil thoroughly drain out of this engine. I think we left off with, we pulled the head off of it, we drained the oil out, and I think from there, we need to pull the oil pan off and pull the piston. So I think that's where we're at now with this engine. So I don't think that anything else needs to be done besides the piston. Like I said before, the reason we're pulling the piston out is because I think the bore in the piston rod is too small for this crankshaft. So that's why we're pulling this engine apart, because it doesn't turn, well it does turn, but it doesn't turn very easy. So I think that's our problem. This needs to come off too. I'll do that here later. So let me set this, what way do we want to? lay it this way or this way. We'll face it this way. Another thing I also want to do with this engine is I want to check the valves, because honest to God, it really wouldn't hurt to do that. I think that all the oil is drained out of this engine, so I shouldn't need to worry about it leaking. Whatever. I don't want to stay. I'm not going to fight with it, so we'll pull these out. These are not, you know what? Yeah, let's pull these out of here. I was going to say let's just take the oil pan off and leave these feet in it, but I don't really see a point in leaving them. I want to bench start. I'm probably going to end up either bench starting this engine first, or we'll drop it in a frame and try starting it before we put it in the 68. That way we can verify it works, or test our luck and just go on and put it in the 68. That way we can find out whether it works or not. I'm going to give it a high success rate. I think it'll work. Not too terribly loose. So I might have tightened these up. Easier, like I said before, if this was in a tractor. It's nice that oil is all drained out of it. That's one thing I don't have to worry about. I think I have one of these gaskets around here somewhere. So these gaskets are brand new, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have to replace it or not, but we'll see. Oh, that came off. Say that'll come out easily. Yeah, the gasket looks okay. I'm going to try not to peel that gasket off. If I don't have to, I'm not going to replace them. Replace the gasket. I can reuse that head gasket, luckily, because I didn't tighten it down like I said before. At least I don't think I tightened it down. I only put it at wrench tight. That was it. Wrench tight was maybe 10. I just put it to the point where I couldn't turn it anymore with it sitting on the table on a wrench. I didn't get it very tight, so we'll see. Depends on what I want to do with that. If I want to go that far or just reuse that one and be okay. I do have another head gasket around here somewhere for another engine. How's that pan look? That pan looks pretty clean. I don't see any metal. So that's good. I sure hope I don't see any metal in the pan. I have not seen the inside of this engine in a while. If I remember correctly, these bolts in here aren't very tight either. Oh, that's the dipstick. I was wondering what that was. Put that there. That way we don't lose our bolts. We're just going to put them in. Whoa, that's been rubbing on something right there. Let's turn it all the way. Oh, I don't want it. Come on, you. See where it's rubbing. I think it's, yeah, it's the crank. What do I have the loose? I think those are 1/2-inch bolts. I'm gonna guess those are 1/2-inch. Actually, I should grab an extension. Had this sitting over there and it had a 1/2-inch on it already. Yeah, I didn't think they were very tight at all. Just take a look in here. Now, if I'd have tightened it down all the way to as tight as it should have been, this engine wouldn't have turned over. So that's really what we're trying to figure out, is why. It's definitely got plenty of oil in there. And it don't look too scored up. Yeah, there's plenty of oil in there. It shouldn't have had any problems. It's not the top end. Yeah, see, now it's turning easily. I can tell you that. This isn't the problem. It's not the top end. I know it's bottom end. Could be possibly top end. See, that doesn't want to come out. Like I said before, I got it. I need a wrench or something. What we're going to do something a little bit longer. There's a drill bit right there, but I don't want to use. Here. That could be something. Ready? Try not to hit my crank. Is that supposed to be that hard? Oh, I see. It's hit on that washer. Okay. Well, I don't want to break the rings. Let's try turning this. Oh, okay, of course. Let's swing this around. Great. I don't know why that was there to begin with, but now it's all over the floor. So now once the piston's out, we'll take a look at it. We need to find out. This one right there is the reason. There we go. It don't look bad. Yeah, it was definitely getting oil. As you can see, that was no question. I think it was a not ring, I think it was a rod problem. Because now that I'm looking at it, I can't tell. Well, I have a different rod we can try, so we'll see if it fixes me or not. Sometimes it's an easy fix Other times, not really. Where do we want to go from here? Popped another battery in the camera, and I would love to come on here and be able to say, oh, I waited on you guys. Well, I decided I would just go on ahead and finish this and get this done. I have not put the piston back in the engine yet. I just kind of stuck it on. I put the rod on, and right now I'm trying to find the front of this ring. I think I found it. Yep, right there. So I want this rod ring facing this way, this ring facing that way, like that. There. Cool. Now I have the rings the way I want them. Yep. I do not have a ring crusher, but I do have a thing around here that I usually use. I need to run upstairs and grab it. Okay, everybody, I am back. I got the piston in. I know you guys like to see me put this stuff together, but I just went ahead and I threw it together myself just to get it done a little bit quicker. That, and I'm sure you guys wouldn't like the method that I use. What I do is I get the ring in, then I push on the piston a little bit until it's held in by this little lip. Then I push it in on this side, then I push down on the piston while I do that, and it goes in. I don't hammer on it or anything, I just push it gently until it goes down. Once it goes down, I'm good. Then just slide the next ring in the same way, along with the next. And once you get them all in, you're good. So, right now what we are doing is I'm going to bring this back down, lay on its side. We're going to bolt that rod up to the cam, to the crank, and we're going to see without turning it. Where do we have it? Okay. That seems to move easily, so I'm going to guess it was bottom end before. Again, I'm not quite sure how easy they're supposed to move. You know? I mean, it doesn't, the word I'm looking for, it doesn't slide easily. It doesn't slide like it's got anything wrong with it, you know, but it's got a little bit of a slide to it. Nothing to really probably worry about, you know, but I'm sure though once the engine gets some hours on it, though, it'll be a little bit easier to spin, you know. That's usually how they are. Once they get some more hours on them, they'll spin easier. Not going to tighten this down all the way. I just want to get it a little bit tight where it's kind of holding itself on there. But just at least so I can, yeah, see, it's definitely turning a lot easier now, but that is still loose. So it's not tight. Just, oh shit. Not tight just yet. I don't want to have any accidents with that. Get that side tight. We'll go down, not snug, but easy on it until both sides feel about the same, then we'll check it. And then, does it turn? It's locked up. Okay, we've still got a problem. Something's not right down here. Oh shit. Loosen it back up. It's bottom. See, now it wants to turn. It could be too because there's no oil in there. Hold on a minute. Is that on backwards? Ways. I have that one backwards. Oops, my bad. I think it's supposed to go this way. Yeah, maybe I do. Have it on there backwards? Yeah, I have it on there backwards. My bad. I doubt that's the cause, but I have it on backwards, so better fix that. Oh, shit. Better fix that before it's too late. Come on. Where'd that go? I'm being careful and watching that gasket. Did it come out? No, where is it? Telling me I lost a nut already. Oh, that's good. Oh, shit. Well, let's go on ahead and just get this flipped around. That way we know it's facing the right way. There's a hole in this on the bottom. I have it facing the right way. You want to have this hole facing the way the engine rotates, if that makes sense. So see, I'm only human. I'm only human. Let's take this, tip it up like that. Slide it around a little bit, try to get that nut to come loose. I hate to do this, but I really don't like doing that, but is that it? No. Another thing I don't see in this engine is balance gears. So maybe it didn't have balance gears in it. Leave that nut in there. That's gonna haunt me if I don't get that out. That's gonna haunt me, and it's also gonna cause engine trouble if I don't get that nut out of there. So, oh, I found it. Oh, thank God. It went up here where it wasn't able to come out. Wow, that's a good save. Okay, so I could have easily just went and grabbed another one, but if I'd have done that and this was still in here and this caught it and moved and it flew, boing, it would have ruined my engine. Is this? Yeah, you guys still see it. Cool. Oh, you probably want to see what I'm looking at though instead. There you go. We may have a bottom end problem. See, now it wants to turn better. Let's put some oil in there. Where's my little oil can? I don't have any engine assembly lube around here, so I can't use that, but I do have some oil. Well, maybe I should put that in there before. That way it doesn't just fall out. Not very easy, but it does. Let's take that. Need to put some motor oil in one of them, actually. That wouldn't be a bad idea. There it goes. Now it's starting to turn easier. I still do not have that tight. We're going to have to tighten that up next. The piston rod. So, okay. Let's crank it down tight. See. Now I'm a lot more comfortable with it than I was before. Tighten that tight. Tighten that tight. Does it still spin? What? No, it don't spin. I wonder if it's because I do. You know what I see? I had a feeling I want to know why it's doing that first off. I think when I put it together, I think the reason why it's doing that, there's spacers you put up here. I wonder if I put too many. I almost wonder that. Loosen it up. Maybe I just had them too tight or uneven. What was that? Maybe I had them uneven. What's our side-to-side play? Okay, there ain't much. Tighten that down a little bit. Okay, it still wants to turn. Not very good, but some. Need an engine stand or something I can put this in so it doesn't go everywhere. You guys can see how hard that is now to turn. I want to know why it's like that. Let's just loosen one side. I'm almost tempted to pull the front off of it, or even better, put this rod on a different engine, tighten it down, and then, you know what? I have that one. Let's put a rod in that and a junk piston, and let's spin it up and down and see what we get out of it. Okay guys, quick little update. I didn't end up trying to make that engine over there run, but I did bring the drill over here just for shits and giggles, and I tried turning the flywheel over with it. It did turn the flywheel over fine. Then I tightened it down. I did notice, however, if you can see that right there, the piston is hanging out of the bore. Something's not right there. It's coming out farther than it should. I think the rod that I put in there might just be a little bit too long. So I think that is going to be our next thing to figure out, is we're going to have to put that rod back in it and then find out why exactly it's not wanting to work. My guess is when I put this on here, I think I might have put too many spacers under here, and it's pulling it this way where it should be back a little bit, causing this to ride on the sidewall. It didn't, where's that rod? It didn't look like it was riding it at all when I had it pulled out of there and I was looking at it. This is the one that came out of it. I don't see any side scoring on it, so well, maybe it was. It's hard to tell. It may have been, it may not have been, but we'll find out, I guess. Okay guys, I'm not quite sure where we left off in this video. I hope I didn't delete it. If I didn't delete it, it's still on here. I think it was a month ago. 3 or 4 months ago, I had made a decision I was going to put this engine on the 68. This is the engine from the Patio, the one that we had rebuilt. It was kind of throwing me off. I had a lot of questions I was asking about it. The engine was stuck, which now it's not. The engine was stuck and you couldn't do anything. This was seized for whatever reason. I had oiled it plenty and it still wouldn't come unstuck. I loosened the crank, the rod, and it moved. So I've got my suspicion the rod was too short, and I was right. I stuck the rod that came out of it on this crankshaft, and I stuck a bottom on here, and the thing would wobble. So, and this was actually what I did today. So I figured out that was the wrong one, and I had a few other rods laying around that I've tried on this, and I couldn't get one of them to work. So what I did was I started scrummaging around, and I remembered I had that motor sitting right there. And it had a rod in it and also had a crank and it had a piston. So I thought, let's have a little bit of fun with this. So I pulled that motor apart. That crank is out of that engine. That crank is out of this engine over here. And it's collecting pistons, as you can see. This is out of, if you guys don't remember the 210, that's the engine that's out of it, the one that I had a long time ago. So anyway, so what I did, and I think we left off with the piston rod that I had put in here was too tall. The piston stuck over top of the bore. I think that much. Right there above this first ring, the ring was starting to pop out. So I shut the camera off and I started scratching my head a little bit, trying to figure out what was going on exactly. And I did not know this. Apparently, between the 100 series engines and the 200 series engines, the earlier Kohlers to the later Kohlers, apparently the rods got longer in the newer ones than they did the older ones. I did not know about that. I'm not quite sure how true that is. I have not looked it up. I've just kind of been experimenting here and there with this project, and I noticed that. So I thought that was really interesting. So I dug around and I just tried out a whole bunch of rods, and I ended up finding this guy. This guy works and turns very easily, as you can see. That hitting was the bottom of the piston hitting on the table, what throws the oil around, so that's nothing to be worried about. So I threw that in here with this same 30 over piston, and it works. So hopefully this engine will run. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I have not lost too many parts to it, so we should be able to get this thing going. Problem is that unfortunately the oil gasket broke, so I will have to do something about that. I did consider trying to reuse this gasket, put something over it right there to try and seal it up, but I think I'm either just going to make a new gasket or I'm going to try to hunt down a new one. I think I have one around here somewhere. I have to look. So that's where we're at right now with this project. The engine, I have this tight. I just figured that out today. I have this on here tight as I could get it, and it's pretty well still spinning around, so I'd say I think we've got this thing pretty figured out. It's hopefully going to go straight forward now. So we should be where we need to be. So I'm trying to remember where we left off. So what I think we're going to do is we are going to go on ahead and get this engine dressed back up. Do we want to drop it in the tractor and try running it, or do we just want to run it on the bench? I think we're going to run this one in the tractor because of that stupid oil pan that it has. So that's where we're going to go with this engine. I don't think there's anything else that we need to do to get this engine to drop into that tractor and run. Now, I have been doing some thinking lately, and I'm almost tempted, depending on how that motor runs, to put it in the 73. As far as I know, the 73's engine's original. It's a 1973 112 with, I've put a lot of hours on it. So I'm kind of jumping around there. Now this engine's good and strong and it runs really well, and I've done a valve adjustment on it and we've done the new head gasket. But I've just kind of been thinking about it. That motor has been pretty reliable for me, so I think I'll keep it around. But you know, there is always that, should I go on ahead and swap it? Now we could put that engine in the 68 and this engine in the 73, depending on how things go. I'm going to hold off on that until I know this engine runs and I know it runs good. So, and plus I think we'd be better off just leaving the engine that's on it right now and putting this engine in the 68. The plan for the 68, I'm not sure. I really wasn't expecting to get this far with it. It's still got that 10 horse in it. I think this one came out of the 71 112 I used to have. I think that's this one. But it's still here. As you can see, it's not leaking oil or anything. So, not sure. It's just kind of been a long road. So that's where I'm at with this right now. This project, I'm still not quite sure what I'm going to do with. I do have a few ideas I want to do with the 68. One of them is fix that variator on it and fix the belts and fix everything up on it and use it. Put the rear lift linkage on it and use it to pull a plow or even snow plow. That was the main idea, was snow plow with it, because it's got that helper spring. The 73's electric lift and the 112, the 68's got a helper spring. The 216 doesn't have a helper spring on it. I did pull it back out. I do want to snow plow with it. I currently have a carburetor on the way for it. It's, for those of you wondering, I'm in a little bit of a hurry. It is almost Thanksgiving. So I'm trying to get things done now before before I run out of time. So that's what's going on right now. So I can't remember when it was that I was working on this project. I'm sure we'll find out. But that carburetor is going to end up going on this engine. I'm not sure about fuel pump. I know all the shrouds and tins are going to go on that engine. Fuel pump maybe, maybe not. But muffler, I don't think so. I think the muffler that's currently on this engine is the one that's going to stay. I may end up swapping this muffler onto the 73 and putting that muffler on the 68, because the one on the 73's got a hole in it right here. And it's a little bit more rusty looking. Now, I could leave the muffler that's on the 68, but I don't know. I'd just like to get that muffler off of there because it shoots back that way. It's supposed to go out the side here, but this has the wrong muffler on it. So that's what the deal is there. So I think I'm rambling at this point. Let's go ahead and we'll get into this guy and get him running. The only thing I'm not going to change is that stator. I think something is wrong with the stator on this tractor. I also think the voltage regulator might have some problems. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm just going to leave this guy how he is until that motor goes in. Once that motor goes in, we'll pull this motor out of here. And when this motor comes out of here, I think that it will go into another project. What project, I'm not sure. I may even put it in a tractor I'm planning on selling and taking the engine out of what I'm selling and keeping it around if it's a good engine, if it's a bad engine. So that's where I'm at right now. The only problem with this motor currently is it's wore out, as you guys have seen in the videos. That, and it burns a lot of oil, which I don't really think burning oil is a problem, what it has right now, but it will get to a point where it's going to be alarming here soon, so get it taken care of now before it gets to that point. So let me go on ahead. I'll get you guys put in the stand. We will take a look at this engine over here on the table and find out what is going on with it. This right here I don't plan on keeping. This is going to come off, and the one that's on that other engine is going to go on there. Plus the points, coil, condenser. I actually might leave these points on it. So that's where I'm at right now. Let's go on ahead and get into this. I ran back there and looked. I was right. The one for the 10 horse goes right here. The one for the 12 horse is right there. Unless I have that backwards, then that would make that engine in there a 12 horse. So what I am going to end up doing, I think, is I'm going to have to find my head gasket, put the head gasket back on here. This is on, that's on. This over here, I need a carburetor. I need to do something about this oil fill tube. As you can see, it's loose. That is going to be the next thing. Muffler. Valves, I'm going to leave that up in the air. Governor, I will have to adjust that. That's loose. And then that seems like it's doing good. I will end up going in there, checking that, make sure that's tight enough. I think it is, so I'm going to leave it alone. I think everything that needs to be done has been done, so there we go. Hopefully we can get it to work. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. I'm not going to say nothing. Let's try. As long as we don't end up having to take this off of here again, I'm sure we could get it to work. Get all this cardboard out of there. No idea why that's in there. Everything is good on here. I just spun it over again to make sure that there was nothing else I needed to do on this engine. Everything seems like it should, so hopefully I don't have to go any further into it. These were the ones that come off of here. Come on, go in. I got an idea. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this electrical tape. I doubt this is going to work, but we'll find out. And I'm going to go over this. Try not to cover the hole too much. That way I can still put the bolts in. Maybe that'll hold it, maybe it won't. I'm not going to give it a very high chance. Overlap them. There we go. Of course it doesn't want to cooperate for me. There we go. think. There we go. No, I'm not expecting this to be permanent or even work. Trying not to cause any more damage. I'm trying to figure out how it broke because it's been sitting over there. Unless somebody messed with it, but nobody's been out here except me, so I don't know, maybe it happened when I moved it over there. This is the poor man's way of drying oil. I don't have any towels out here right now. There we go. Let's try this again. If we end up getting this somehow to work, I'll be very surprised. I could use silicone. I'd have to look and see if I have any still. I feel like I do upstairs. There. Look at that. We'll put a little bit inside too to give it some extra assurance. Maybe I should just go on ahead and throw it on there and say I'm done. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. There we go. That's good. Let's just hope that it decides it wants to work. And if it decides it wants to work, then maybe we will try putting oil in it. Yeah, I already think it's starting to split. Looks like it is. It might be. Hopefully, if it decides it wants to hold, the engine will run. Why is this one over here? Want me to... Oh, I put that in the threads, that's why. That explains a lot. Let's try this guy instead. I know I'm going to get all sorts of people commenting and saying, why would you use electrical tape and all that? Let's put that right there. Let's put this here. Let's just see. This one doesn't want to line up now for whatever reason. I think I can officially say, I think I told you guys this earlier, but I think I can say I've poured my blood, sweat, and tears into this engine because I cut myself earlier trying to make them stupid gaskets that never worked, of course. So, let's just take that. It seems like it's holding on. No, I don't want to loosen it. It seems like it's holding on there, so maybe if we take it easy. Of course, that doesn't want to. Is that because I have the... No, now it wants to thread. Wait a minute. Wrong bolt. Yeah, that's why. Oops. Apparently, I grabbed the wrong bolt. Let's try this again. It is this one. We'll throw that bolt in there, tighten that down. See, now it wants to work. I told you guys I'd figure it out. I do still have that oil. As you guys remember in the last video, I took the oil out of this engine and I drained it into that white container. Should be the exact measurement that I need. So hopefully when I dump it back into this engine, we shouldn't need any more. We should have enough. How much do you guys want to bet it's going to leak? Hopefully, if I did it right, that electrical tape will keep it from leaking. Lock that down. Lock that down. We'll come over here. That way we're not putting uneven pressure on it. Hopefully we can get this thing running by tonight. That is my hope. And then once we get it running, I really think before I do anything I should probably go on ahead and adjust them valves in that governor. Or at least just check them. Make sure they're adjusted where I want them. There we go. There we go. That's tight. How about this one? This one is tight. Okay, so, and it does still turn. I can verify that right now. See? It still turns. So hopefully, if I did it right, no play or anything, it seems like it's cool. No end play. Nope. Cool. It's right where I want it. So, hopefully, everything should be according to spec on it. I'm tempted to throw a carburetor together and just throw it on there. We could even just dump fuel right down that cylinder and run it. But, I don't know. I think I am actually going to make this a two-part video. Part one is going to be getting the engine to spin, and I think part two will be putting it in the tractor, getting all that dialed in and hooked up. So, I think this is going to be the end of today's video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Not quite sure what else we're going to do. I guess in the next video we're going to find out how it does. We'll find out how it runs and do a valve adjustment and things like that. Stuff I do need to do. That's top dead center, compression stroke. Valves all seem to move like they should, so everything right there should be good. Piston is there, everything is there, everything seems like it's moving as it should. I'm just kind of making a checklist for myself right now because it's kind of hard to believe this thing is together. Because I've never had this engine running before, ever since the day I got it. When I got this engine, it was in pieces in a box. It came to me with the 72 that I bought, and I kind of put it away. I figured one day it'd make me a good parts dinner, but then I thought maybe I could get it running. I had an idea go through my mind actually. I'm kind of considering putting that engine in the patio, the one that's in the 68. That way I can at least drive it around, you know. I get to use it a little bit and it's got an engine with it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with my hypotheses. Everything is together and everything has gone together smoothly. I really want to thank you guys for hanging around and watching. This video got kind of long, and I will be honest, this video got kind of tiring to do. I didn't expect it to go as far as it did, as long as it did and as far as it did, but you know, we've got there, so we should be, next video should be of me getting this engine running. I think that is going to be it. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. And take care.